If you're curious what 4 commanding BA sounds like in an IEM, introducing the Symphonium Audio Crimson. Hello and thank you for clicking on this video where I'll be sharing my experience on the Symphonium Audio Crimson, which is a 4BA driver IEM coming in at $1,500 US. While it may seem like a lot of money for only 4BA drivers in an IEM, hold your horses until you hear what I have to say about the sound, because it breaks the mold of more drivers mean better sound quality. But before we explore deeper, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Damien from the Australian Head-Fi Tour and Symphonium Audio for arranging this tour and allowing me to be a part of it. As always, I'll leave links in the description down below so you can check it out, and if you've been enjoying my content, please do consider hitting that like and subscribe button. That'll help the channel a lot and my goal to reach 3,000 subscribers by the end of the year. With that all said, let's talk unboxing. The box itself is relatively compact. Opening it up, you'll be greeted by the IEMs themselves and a plaque with the Crimson name on it. There's even a small drawer with a greeting card thanking whoever who purchased this set, and it also houses 2 sets of ear tips, but not just any silicone ear tips. It's the Divinus velvet ear tips and also Asla ear tips, which are quite premium ear tips set. So it's nice that they've included them in this package. It also comes with a very nice polished metal case with the Symphonium Audio engraving on the case. Of course, you still have that metal twisting sound, but it's not as bad as some cases. Inside you have more interchangeable ear tips, maybe it came with the tour. It also comes with a cleaning tool, a Symphonium Audio sticker, and of course the cable, which apparently is the 8-wire version, and it has a bit of the Effect Audio weave design, so it's balancing between being lightweight but also having a bit of heft. But the termination design is very similar to the ones from Fat Freak, so not sure if they're sourcing the same cable or at least the termination casing from the same place. But either way, it's a nice color scheme, very similar to the Effect Audio Aries color, but my biggest issue is the ear hook, which is pretty much non-existent, and this helps in making it feel lightweight around your ears. But due to the design and the weight of the IEMs themselves, I think the cable ear hook isn't doing anyone any favors. We'll talk about fit later, but let's talk about the designs of the IEMs themselves. This is essentially Symphonium Audio's signature IEM design, with this shape and metal body, but unlike the Helios, it doesn't have that protrusion for the pin connections. So for the Crimson, it has a red band around the faceplate, a crimson name engraved, and a starry night kind of design with a blend of white, grey, and blacks with a splash of red in there. It's very simple and subtle, it doesn't scream for attention, but the red and black really makes the Crimson look very sleek. Let's talk about fit and comfort. I'm not sure what it is about Symphonium Audio's design, but it just doesn't sit well with my ears personally, as it has a tendency to fall out. I've had similar issues with the Helios as well, where I'm relying on the ear tips to get a really good fit, so something really sticky like the SpinFit W1s or Asla Setna ear tips works really well for me personally. The ear hooks from the cable isn't doing much hooking, so personally I went with other cables to give me the extra fit security. It's really a shame because once you get everything to fit, the sound of the Crimson, man oh man, let's talk about them. Like I said in the beginning of the video, despite only having 4 BA in this IEM, but it's like having 4 commandos knowing what they're tasked to do, and they all deliver in harmony. To really get the bass pounding happening, I'd have to get the right ear tips, the right seal to ensure that the IEM is resting in my ear, and the bass will come. But unlike a BA bass is not flat in nature, the Crimson brings in a bit of punch and slam, but it's not bass head level impact, but it's still there. There's a bit of weight and heft on the bass note, and there's good rumble coming in from the deep end to give it a bit of texture, bringing a bit of fun to the tracks. As an overall, it's still a clean delivery of the bass notes, and it attributes to keeping the mid-range lean and clean. The vocals still take center stage, but the lower frequency doesn't interfere with the mids, allowing the background music to be heard without taking the spotlight away from the singer. The vocals are clean and clear. There's a bit of bite coming from the S's and T's, so I'll actually put a caution for treble sensitive people. You can hear the air and space around the sound, which air instruments benefit a lot from. They sound open and powerful. However, this is a small nitpick, they do sound just a tad bit on the thinner side, so it's not the most natural sounding trumpet notes I've heard, but at least how the treble is presented gives the presentation that clarity, and it opens up the sound stage. It's not too closed in nor too wide, but the way details are presented gives the soundstage some depth, and detail retrieval is where these 4 commandos show their badge of honor. The way it's separated, the position within the sound stage, all the things happening at left and right and center, it just gives you a really immersive experience listening to music. I honestly thought it would struggle with giving you details with the amount of drivers it has, but I'm pleasantly surprised that it can deliver and delivers beyond expectations, so it's a joy to listen to. However, this IEM needs a bit of power, so giving it a bit of juice from a good source will really bring out the capabilities of this IEM. Those commandos will only go to work if you give it some dough. So versus the 64 Audio U12T, the U12T was one of the most detailed IEMs I've listened to, and it was just so effortless in delivering its details. The way the bass was presented was also surprising in a way where, like the Crimson, even though it's all BA drivers, the bass attack was fast, yet it carries a lot of punch and slam, and it delivers it as if you're hearing from a dynamic driver instead of a BA driver. However, the IEM was so good at giving you details that it felt like you were analyzing the music rather than listening to it. The Crimson had a somewhat similar presentation in terms of giving you a detailed presentation while still having an out-of-character bass from BA, but the Crimson doesn't sound as analytical as the U12T, and probably the sub-bass could have attributed in giving the presentation a bit more fun, as the U12T was more mid-bass focused and it had a little bit less bite in the upper treble, which made the treble presentation sound just a touch more natural compared to the Crimson. However, the U12T carries 12 drivers per side and it costs $200 more than the Crimson. While they both are quite similar in their sound presentation, I think if I'm leaning towards more of the musical enjoyment, I'd pick the Crimson, but if I want to analyze the sound a bit more to discover what else is there, then I pick the 64 Audio U12T. So versus the Unique Melody Mest Mark II, unfortunately I can only compare it with my customs since I converted it from Universals, but the Mest Mark II also has a somewhat similar presentation where it's focused on delivering the details, and the Unique Melody Mest Mark II definitely presents the illusion of having a wider soundstage due to how recessed the presentation is, and it still retains the sharpness of the treble while having the impact from the dynamic driver. In terms of bass presentation, again, I'm not sure if it's because of the custom fit or maybe it's the dynamic driver doing its thing with the right tuning, but I'm just getting more rumble and impact from the Mest Mark II compared to the Crimson. They both bring out the details in the music, but because the vocals are recessed on the Mest Mark II, the vocals share the spotlight with the background music, so it's an all-in-one kind of presentation, whereas the background music, while still audible on the Symphonium Audio Crimson, it never takes the spotlight away from the singer. So if you like listening to your music as a whole, Mest Mark II gives you that presentation, but if you want the singer to be in the focus while still having all the details in the background, the Crimson would be the pick. So versus the TA Audio Monarch Mark III, the Symphonium Audio Crimson is simply a level up in terms of detail delivery compared to the TA Audio Monarch Mark III, and is demonstrated in their pricing as well. The TA Audio, however, has a much warmer sound and is definitely the smoother presentation between the two. Given how the details are not as pronounced compared to the Crimson, you hear the vocal presence being more in the spotlight. However, that's not to say that the TA Audio Monarch Mark III is not detailed. In fact, there's a lot of details coming through, it's just that compared to the Symphonium Audio Crimson, the details are much more distinct on the Crimson, and its imaging is a lot sharper than the Monarch Mark III. However, if you found the treble presentation from the Crimson having a bit too much of a bite for your personal preference, and if you're looking for a cheaper alternative, then the TA Audio Monarch Mark III would be a great option to consider. So to sum it all up, my initial experience with the Symphonium Audio Crimson wasn't the greatest with the fit and comfort. However, just like any other IEMs, once you get the right fit, the right seal, the right cable, once everything gels together, then you'll be able to hear Crimson's true nature, and it shines. This IEM essentially demonstrated that quality of drivers with the right tuning matters more over quantity of drivers. So I'm curious then, what if they decided to bring in more drivers? Give it a bit of warmth, a touch smoother treble presentation? Oh, that'll be very interesting. But as it stands now, the Symphonium Audio Crimson delivers above and beyond what I thought it was capable of, provided if you're able to get the right fit and you give it power. I'll never underestimate less drivers moving forward, but that's been one man's experience and I'm curious to know yours. Have you listened to the Symphonium Audio Crimson, and what are your experiences like? Comment below, let me know, and with that all said, thank you again to Damien from the Australian Hi-Fi Tour and Symphonium Audio for this opportunity. And to all of you for watching, thank you all so much. Until the next video, take care and happy listening.